right.
Oh my God.
I am finally live here with you all. Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone is well. Go ahead and let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know who's watching, what city and state, what part of the world are you watching from. Give me just a second. I'm just pulling up a couple things. So tonight, this is just an impromptu live discussion. As everyone knows, tomorrow is election day. As we all know, we've been inundated with election materials. We have been inundated with what's going on in Georgia, even if you don't live in Georgia. We've been inundated with certain races that are so important. And of course, literally like clockwork, Black people this year, interestingly enough, Black men have been a focus of election day, particularly in Georgia. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Let me give some shout outs. Good to see you, Sister Lise. You are in Statesboro, Georgia. I know you'd be glad when tomorrow over with. Sister RM, shout out to you, sis. Welcome. The baddest moderator in Black YouTube, Brother Darrell Craft, Dayton, Ohio, where I lived for 20 years. Good to see you, my brother. And the Sister Crystal Denise. All right. Sanatobia, Mississippi. Got to come visit you. Got to come visit you at some point. I'll be in Alabama hopefully next year this time. We'll see. And the good brother Jason Allen down in Atlanta, getting ready for election day. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate all the good work that you're doing. Somebody's telling me good evening, Danette. Hey, sister, where you checking in from, Danette? Oh, okay, Northern California. I see you just dropped that. Got sister Kenya Pierre, Inglewood, California. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And censorship against the middle path. All right. Them lost the Northeast till reparations is a go. I voted Republican until then. Hey, let's talk about it. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. That is exactly what we're going to talk about tonight. All right. Sister Sherry Bruton, Dayton, Ohio. What's Dayton, Ohio doing in here tonight? Hey, Dayton. Dayton, Ohio. Lived there for 20 years. Got married there, started my family there, and both of my children were born in Dayton.
No.
All right. So let's go on and get into this conversation, you guys. So for those of you all who know me, especially if you know my work and you know me from social media, you know, whatever, you all know that I have been pretty much off the Dem train, I would say the last two elections. And I am not, a dumb person. It's not that I'm not strategic. You'd be surprised at how people talk to me online when I bring up actual facts, and I'm not using emotion, and I'm using logic in how I make my decisions for myself and my family. As I mentioned earlier, I lived in Dayton, Ohio for 20 years, left, relocated to the Mid-Atlantic region, the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Northern Virginia area in 2017. This is pretty much a Democratic stronghold where I live now. Maryland is a super blue state, if there ever is one, just like California. There's no way in hell, any type of Republicans will be winning outside of certain, obviously, rural areas, parts of Maryland that are close to Pennsylvania, West Virginia. In fact, I believe the entire Maryland congressional delegation, there's only one Republican from the entire state. So this is a Democratic stronghold. And as far as I can see, Black folks, especially in certain areas, are still catching hell, are still at the bottom of a lot of socioeconomic indicators. So clearly, just voting straight Dem all the time is not necessarily materially benefiting us as a group. That is a fact. So I don't want anybody coming into the comments crying and cussing me out and things like that, because I only want to talk about facts tonight. I also want to pull up something from Chris Hedges. If anybody knows who he is, he's actually a white guy, but he is I guess you would say, um, journalist, but he is a non-mainstream journalist. He is a truth teller, so to speak. And so I'll probably share a little bit of some things that he wrote that I 100% agree with, in terms of the opinion piece he just released earlier today. Matter of fact, let me see if I can just pull that up now. I want to pull up. I want to pull up the title of that, and then I might actually share it on screen for you all. And let's see here. Where is he? Yeah, that's funny. Twitter never even gave him a blue check mark. That's interesting. I don't know if y'all want to talk about that, but it looks like a lot of liberal pansies are jumping off of Twitter because Elon Musk owns it now. I'm actually glad. So Chris Hedges wrote an article 7 hours ago, posted on Twitter, says the politicians who destroyed our democracy want us to vote for them to save it. So I know that's probably, this is a very long read. I actually may have to just drop the link in the comments for you all to see. Peace and blessings, cuz. Good to see you. My cousin tuning in. You guys still in Alabama? So anyway, here it is. I watched Stacey Abrams do an interview. I believe it was last night, and I watched her talk about, Black men in a pathological way, in terms of the fact that they're not, I guess, excited and whatever the polls are saying about Black men and voting. Um, they're just not, excited about her candidacy. And my question is, and this is an honest question, and I'm glad that people are from Georgia watching, because I love to hear your thoughts. And, again, we can respectfully agree to disagree, but this is an open conversation because most of the folks I think on Georgia, like Jason, I know you personally, so I know you and I don't always agree on the approach in terms of who to vote for. I know you agree with me in theory on a lot of things in terms of, just how we've been treated by the Democratic Party and the things that they could certainly be doing to make sure that they are responding to the needs of their most loyal voting constituency. So I know you get that part. But what I don't agree with is, why is it that Black people are always the demographic when it comes to voting that people want to blame? This is a question to you all that's watching. I mean, I want to see y'all. I mean, let's have a conversation, right? Like, put it in the comments. Also, I might drop the link here and invite a couple of you all up to just, join me for a conversation if you'd like to. But number one, Stacey Abrams earlier this year went on a podcast called 85 South. That's a podcast by Black men, some brothers. I believe it's based in Georgia, might be even based in Atlanta, but I don't watch the podcast like consistently, but all the clips of her talking about why she couldn't just support reparations for Black people was all over the internet. So I watched her interview. And I thought it was interesting because she said, well, it's hard to do anything specifically for Black people because we only make up 12% of the population. And I was confused when she gave that statistic because I'm like, are you running for governor of Georgia or president of the United States? Because Black people make up over 30% of Georgia. So, but you can do things specifically for white LGBT. You can be for abortion, that y'all call reproductive justice, unapologetically, even though there are Black Christians who don't agree with that, but they still vote Democrat. You can do all these special things for special populations except for Black people. So what exactly that's a part of your plan that's supposed to get black men excited to go vote for you? That's what I'm trying to figure out. And I'm just looking from afar. I don't live in Georgia. I have family down there. The man that's running for re-election has been the governor the last 4 years, and I'm trying to see, I guess, do y'all feel like black outcomes would have been better or worse if Stacey had won before? I'm just trying to find. Hold on, let me see what this comment. Okay, so censorship said, you see Kemp was working with King Randall and Abram shunned him. Wow, I heard about that. So, okay, so King Randall was a popular brother, not in Atlanta. I had him on my show 2 weeks ago. He is down in where the brother at Albany. He opened up a school for black boys, which is needed. Illegal immigrants make up 0% of the voting population, but they get policies that benefit them. That's interesting. Now that's interesting. For the people that are supporting Democrats tomorrow, or if you've already voted early, how do you feel about that? From HitFlix. HitFlix says illegal immigrants make up 0% of the voting populations, but they get policies that benefit them. And I know that the Democrats are very much supportive of that particular population, and they do things that are specific, as HitFlix says, that specifically benefit that population. Listen, I'm not against specific populations getting things. I'm just saying when we gonna get ours. That's all. Am I wrong? I just want to know when black people gonna get specific stuff, right? Because 95% of the time we vote for Democrats. When we gonna get some specifics? That's all. Is that wrong? Should black people just continue to vote and not ask for specifics? So when we vote, y'all realize you're voting for other people's self-interest if you're voting Democrat. I'm just saying, you're literally voting for other groups and their self-interest. It's almost like we're the proxy for the people that can't vote. I see them losing a lot of seats. I do too. It's going to be a red wave tomorrow. I don't see. First of all, has anybody been to the grocery store later? Or is it just in the DMV? I'm looking at prices of stuff that I buy all the time. Coffee, bread, bagels, cream cheese. When I tell y'all food is nuts right now, is it just in the DMV or is food high all across the US? Because I was at the grocery store this weekend and I'm trying to figure out who can afford this shit. Yes, eggs, everything. Yeah. So yeah. Darrell said, funny thing is the majority of black people are content with getting nothing for their vote as long as Republicans are not in office. Okay. I don't get that either. Listen, y'all, I'm not trying to be funny. I really do want to have a conversation with y'all. So for people who are voting for Democrats tomorrow, why? Or if you've already voted, why? Is it, and I noticed that when I put that on social media, I usually just get what's been on the commercials. Save democracy. I'm voting because women should have a right to an abortion. I'm voting because what else y'all been saying? Whatever's on the commercials. Don't do that. That's his. What else? Says it's everywhere and they're saying it's temporary and we're just saying, nah, yeah, it's not temporary. This shit is crazy. The food is ridiculous. I couldn't believe coffee last year was costing me $5.99 because a certain brand that I like to buy. Guess how much it is now? It's double. It's $10.99, $11.99, $12.99 for the same amount. And I'm just y'all, Dems ran out too many extra checks and then put policies forth to get people back to work sooner. Wow. How y'all feel about some of these comments? Hey, Brother Hakeem, good to see you, good brother. 60 years of blind faith voting for a party whose policies have not improved outcomes for the Black community whatsoever. That's all I'm saying. Like, our material conditions have actually worsened, if we're honest. And this brother is in California, especially for Black folks in California. Like, Black folks are literally being systemically removed. It's really criminal what's happening to Black people. It is extremely criminal what's happening to Black people. Peace, good brother Adrian. Good to see you. Yeah, it's criminal what's happening. New York, same thing. I'm even seeing more homelessness around here, which, you know, is a lot of federal workers around here. There's a lot of jobs around here because of the federal government. It's supposed to be a recession-proof area, but I'm seeing more homelessness in my community, and they Black. And this is a community with a very high immigrant population. But most of the homeless that I see, not just that they're Black, but they're Black men. So I'm the type of person, y'all know me, I love us, right? I love Black people. I'm an empath, right? So when I see pain, when I see suffering, that impacts my day. Like, that impacts me. Like, I'm not desensitized towards this. Like, I feel it. And I get angry because I turn on the news, Black people just got to get out and vote. And I'm really angry with the Black gatekeeper class in our community. I am very angry with them because, so number one, I'm going to talk about two facts. There were two high-profile bills that could be argued that these were for Black people, right? So one of them was the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Okay. Democrats right now, these are just facts I'm sharing, so I don't want anybody to get mad. They control the House, they control the Senate, they control the White House. They could not pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Bill to combat all of the so-called voter suppression laws that have been passed in all of these states that Trump lost in the last election. Number one. Number two, the Democrats control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. They did not pass the George Floyd Policing Accountability Act to hold police officers accountable. They did include more funding for the police without accountability. So to me, and those are just two things, right? Two bills. That could be considered something that would be, it's for everybody, but, you know, we're gearing this towards the Black community. They couldn't even do that. Voting rights? They couldn't even do that. Police accountability? How long the police been killing us? And so Black men supposed to be excited to vote? And those are issues that disproportionately impact them? I'm sorry. The pathologizing of our community has to stop, especially when we ain't getting shit for our vote. I'm not with it no more. I'm not with it no more. And I'm not going to even get into some of these social issues that's really ramping up. That's also contributing to the red wave that's coming tomorrow. I'm not going to even get in that tonight. So I think I've shared with you that tomorrow will probably be my first election where I do not plan on voting for any Democrats at all. First election since I've been voting, and my first presidential election was Gore. um, so we know how long ago that was. But this will be my first election because school board races are nonpartisan. I mean, technically, some of the people that I'm voting for school board probably do identify as Democrats, but in terms of what's actually on the ballot, school boards are nonpartisan. Um, and that's actually tomorrow for me. The most important vote that I'll be making is for my local school board. So I want to be clear, I guess, right now as an intervention, real quick, that I am not encouraging Black people not to vote. Do what you want to do. Vote for what you think is best. I'm just asking us to not be used. That's all. I'm asking us to get something out of our votes for our community. Because when we vote, we're voting for other people's agendas, other people's communities. It's not for us. So yeah, tomorrow, even though, like I said, I'm in deep blue Maryland, so it don't matter that, Democrats won't be getting my little one vote. I don't think my husband is voting for any Democrats. I don't know who he vote for because he and I are about the same, when it comes to the whole voting piece. I usually have to encourage him to actually go and cast his vote. And he usually does, especially if it's like school board and things like that. Shout out to my brother, Adrian Mack. Thank you, brother. I really, really, really appreciate that. Absolutely. People, principle, and politics. Voting is only a fraction of political action. You're absolutely right. I think that, it's really critical to point that out. It's really critical because it seems that Black people are not engaged in everything that happened before the vote. Like tomorrow, like a lot of the major decisions have already been made. You know what I mean? Like we need to be on these central committees. Like we need to be like in place to get the right candidates in order. However, with Citizens United, even that is difficult, especially the higher up of office that you go. That's why I think for Black people, our strategy in terms of voting should be really hyper local. I think our people should be running for office, especially local, elections. And I think that our people should definitely be paying attention to what's going on with the school board. Oh my God. Like I said, I can't really get into that tonight because I really want to make sure I carefully have that conversation. But the school board is something that we should definitely be paying a lot of attention to. City councils, mayors, those are offices that usually we don't get as much engagement, but to me, it's like the most important and really the ones that we can have the most impact at this point because there's so much money in politics now when it comes to these higher up races like Senate, governor. I mean, a lot of it is really watered down, in terms of how to actually get in and control the process. I'm saying that we need to get something out of the vote. I remember the last election I did in Ohio, which was the presidential election that elected Trump. That was my last election in Ohio. Did not vote for Hillary Clinton, and I still don't apologize for that. Especially after I saw the tricks that they did to Bernie Sanders. They basically stole the nomination from Bernie Sanders. So we won't talk about that anymore. But yeah, Democrats are lethal. I've seen a lot. Yeah, I think that for me at this point, I'm not going to be tolerating any type of down talk, negative talk about Black people with regard to the election tomorrow. Not at all. And we should not be getting, yes, right, we should not be getting used by neither one of these parties. I'm not saying, I feel like people would be like, well, You don't ever talk about the Republican Party. I don't talk about the Republican Party because Black people don't vote for Republicans. Like shit, we 95% of the time we vote for Democrats. That's, if I gotta say it, that's why, right? I don't talk about them. Now, I do think it's interesting that Republicans have been slowly getting more Black votes. Even the last election, a lot of people look past it, but Trump actually got a higher percentage of the Black female and male vote last time. Like I said, we don't talk a lot about it, but when you go back and look at those margins, they actually increased from 2016 to 2020. And then when you look at some of the state elections, I thought North Carolina, y'all go back and check out North Carolina. There was a part of North Carolina, rural North Carolina, that bordered Virginia, where there's like some Black enclaves that voted for Trump. I thought it was really interesting. I don't know. And that's the other thing. I'm not pathologizing Black people, no way, no how, in terms of how they're voting. But I do think it's interesting that we are seeing an increase of Black people going to the Republican Party. I don't know why, because again, the Republicans have not done anything specifically for us either. They don't support reparations either, right? I do think that in my mind, the Republicans ain't focused on us because they know we're not voting for them. Like, why do you court a constituency you know you're not going to get their vote? So to me, it makes sense that they don't pay attention to us, in my mind, right? We're literally the only demographic that don't split our votes. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not pathologizing our voters. You know, I think we have clearly we have a different history in this country than other groups of people and all of that. I think it's very interesting, particularly in Texas. You have more Latinos turning out for Republicans. You would think that, you know, Trump was racist around the border. Some of the Republicans are racist around the border. What are they seeing in the Republican Party that makes them want to vote for them? So I would love, you know, if I have any, the Republicans seem to be pulling in the Black male vote. Yeah, a lot of people keep talking about that. And Clinton is a Margaret Sanger groupie, right? So I don't know. What do you guys think is the reason for the increase, not in just Black voters, but the increase in voters of color in general, voting more conservative? What do you think it's about? I'm curious. What do y'all think it's about? Want to say social issues. I think we're more conservative when it comes to different social issues. No voting, no fucking, dudes ain't into that. Yeah, that video was terrible. I hate that they do that. That's the other thing. Yeah, Democrats got to stop. To me, that's so condescending. Like, you appeal to Black voters by offering actual policies that's going to improve our material conditions, not videos with strippers and stuff. Come on, man. Like, that's so disrespectful. That was such a turn off to me. Like, just, I wanted to just give them a middle finger. Like, I hope don't nobody vote for y'all asses. I voted Republican. I'm assuming you Black, censorship against the middle path. I voted Republican because they already get out New York way to get mine for my family. Them policies be in the way for productive people. Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing. Karen said, people are tired of Dems lying. What they been lying about, sis? Because I know they be lying, but what specifically are you talking about? In Miami as well, I believe. Yeah. Now they've been, the Cubans been Republicans. Let's see. Some of the issues Democrat push does not resonate with Black people and people of color. That's a good point. You feel like naming some of those issues, what those issues are that don't resonate? Yeah, I haven't resonated with the Democrats in years because the Democrats stopped representing poor people. I think when Clinton gutted welfare, like Clinton was, I think, like really the first Republican who ran as a Democrat, like for real. Like he did some real messed up stuff. Like, presidents run for office now and never mention poverty. And I remember when Brother said, I'm assuming you're a brother. Said, I'm dark black. Sister said they lie about everything. I heard that. Um, but I remember when John Kerry ran. I don't know if y'all remember that. I was in Ohio, and I've been very engaged in politics, all those years. And I was working them coming to visit Ohio because Ohio was a battleground state, and so the presidential candidates would always come. And I remember they were in Huber Heights. They were at a school gymnasium. It was close to like the post office. And I remember I was so excited about John Edwards. I wasn't even excited about like John Kerry. I was excited about John Edwards because he talked about poverty. He was from North Carolina. I remember that. And he talked about what he wanted to do. He had a whole plan. And I was so excited. And I remember, of course, Kerry lost that election. But that's the last election where I've heard a president or a vice president, right, even talk about poverty. Meanwhile, poverty has actually increased in this country, especially among Black people. Especially among us. That's right, Catrice. That's right, sis. Them's message be so disrespectful to us. Yes, so disrespectful. Thank you, RM. Shout out to D1 Beats for the super chat. Super chat is open, family. Super chat is open. Shout out to D1 Beats. Thank you, brother. Yeah, so I don't know. I am voting tomorrow. Voting tomorrow morning. Voting at my daughter's school right around the corner. And it's my first time voting for no Democrats. I'm really looking forward to seeing how things pan out. Like I said, things are pretty predictable here in Maryland, but I'm looking forward to seeing what other races around the country look like. People keep talking about the red wave. Trying to see if that's what is. Okay, so Danette Mitchell said immigration and abortion, to name a few. For example, access to an abortion is a concern of Black women, but not our major top issue as Democrats try to push. That's right. Economics is our concern. That's right. Schools for our children, our Black boys not being killed by the police, like all of these issues like rank way above abortion to me, to be honest with you. I'm not having no more kids anyway, so I ain't no need for an abortion. But yeah, like abortion is such a non-issue to me. I mean, I know that there's plenty of people that care about it and they should vote accordingly, but that is a non-issue to me, not a voting issue. And it never has been a voting issue for me, quite honestly. The things that I care about are poverty, the things that again, economics, education, right? Reparations, wealth building. Like those are my issues. Abortion, please. If independence suck, what do you do? I think that some Black people have decided what they're doing. I saw, for those of you on my Facebook page, y'all probably saw it too, but the brother Gary Chambers is running for Senate down in Louisiana. Wishing the brother good luck. I think I donated to him. He's a Democrat, of course, but he's a good brother. He's actually running to try to do some changes for our people. The other interesting point is the Democratic Party did not endorse that brother in Louisiana, just so y'all know. A lot of times the Democrats won't endorse someone who's really trying to do something for the people. That's the other thing that we need to talk about. He did not get the Democratic Party endorsement. They endorsed a white woman, Louisiana. Okay, just want y'all to know that. So anyway, he shared and posted the demographics of all of the cities in Louisiana. So the Southeast, just so y'all know, is very Black. I know we don't talk about it, but like states like Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, like the Southeast is still really Black. And I think it says a lot about the Democrats that they ignore the South. They completely concede the South to the Republicans all the time. They just concede the South. Brother D1B says, I do think we should realize it doesn't matter if we red or blue. Both parties are only pandering for black votes, capitalizing on opportunistic social and economic issues, as some noted already. True, true. Brother Baby says, well, when the Republicans take over, we're going to see what's going to happen and what black people are going to do. Let's keep it real. Can't forget about reparations. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, she sure is hard as working, and appreciate RM. RM gonna drop her cash app so y'all can show her some love. Make sure y'all do that. Abortion is a distraction issue because of white women, of course. Yeah, it's gonna be the handmaiden's tale. Dr. Oz, a guy from my home state, so you're in Pennsylvania, and they've been promoting that will probably destroy his opponent, who seems to be on the surface to be fighting for the poor. Yeah, that Fetterman guy. Yeah, I think he's had a stroke or something. I actually feel empathy for him when I see him. You know, you can tell he's still kind of struggling and recovering from his stroke. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know, we'll definitely see what happens. Really appreciate Sister RM. Thank you, sister. Shout out to the good brother Hakeem. Absolutely. Brother says reproductive justice, LGBTQIA agenda, opportunity zones as a guide for gentrification, K through 12 education, police reform, reparations, so many policies. Right. That's right. Yeah, facts D1. Yep. COVID Campbell, reparations in the time of inflation is COVID stimulus time 10. All right. Our people by and large can't move independent of government sentiment. What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate? Because I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Censorship against the middle path. If you could explain that. Sister RM has dropped her cash app. She is the baddest moderator in all of Black YouTube. Show our sister some love. Shout out to Sister RM. D1B says voting conservative isn't gonna gloss over the internal racism that exists amongst Republicans. I feel the increase in black demographic is small minority of blacks who've moved up economically. Okay, I've heard that before. Black people who make more money tend to vote Republican. So let me ask you this, D1Bs, do you think the Democrats are racist too, or nah? Or is this, different form of racism? I feel like they worse because they the condescending type, that laugh and smile in your face. Ha ha he. Give us your vote. All right, bye, nigga. We got your vote. See you next 4 years. That's what I see. But I'd be interested in your thoughts, Brother D1. How do we fix inflation? Who's proposing to fix inflation? Which party you think gonna fix inflation? I think the economy is certainly going to have a bigger crash. They've been doing quantitative easing during COVID. Quantitative easing is nothing but a big economic term that simply means they've been printing money like crazy, which some economists argue, actually created the inflation. Just depends on what your economic philosophy is. There's people on all types of spectrums when it comes to the economics piece. Some people listen to Milton Friedman. So racism ain't going nowhere. The problem is we fail as a group to do something about it. Okay. What do you think we should do about it? I'm in New York. Besides the governor's race, one of the big stories are two LGBT opponents in a race on LI. LI, I guess, is Long Island. Okay. What do you think will happen if the majority of black folks don't vote? I think if the majority of black folks don't vote, Republicans really gonna win, because Democrats really, in a lot of places, Democrats can't win without us. Ohio is one of those places. They cannot, and to me, I feel like our gatekeeper class, they don't do enough of like leveraging our real power for the Democratic Party. I feel like if you're gonna be a black gatekeeper and you're gonna get millions of dollars from these different, Democratic people and serve your people up on a platter to go vote for Democrats. The least you can do is fight like hell to make sure we get some actual tangible material, um, receive something for our loyalty. And I don't see the gatekeeper class fighting for us. It's like the Democrats come out, they like, okay, this is the agenda we fighting for. And this the agenda. Yeah, this like the gatekeeper class. Look at the agenda, don't see black folks on the nowhere, and don't say nothing. Like, oh, okay, I see these type of rights, that type of rights. Okay, let me keep going. I see these type of rights. Okay, got that. Where black rights at? Let's see. Y'all got any of that in there? Where the black stuff for black people at? Like, that's what I would do. Like, I would fight like hell for my people to make sure that we got something. It's like, I think, let me go back and see what D1 said. I think Repubs are worse and more overt, and the Dems are covert and condescending, or the lesser of the two evils. I disagree now that the Democrats are the lesser of two evils for a number of reasons. I completely disagree with that now. Also, Republicans push for less taxes, non-LGBT oriented, more traditional, and so on, which I generally think black people are more conservative socially. Yeah, very much more conservative. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know no black people that want gender and sex taught to their 5-year-olds in schools, which I don't know if nobody has brought that up here yet, but I don't know if, I don't know. Dems way more racist than the other political group on the planet. That's funny. I think we should act in our own interest, individual interest, been on black. I agree. By the way, Obama has been stumping hard for Democrats like he did for Hillary, who got stumped, right? Biden barely won, and tomorrow's bloodshed, his legacy would be damn near flatline, right? At least when Republicans, the majority of us understand we got. Exactly. It's like we have way more clarity when they in office. Yeah, danger of the Dems, right? Tip jar for Sister RM. Show Sister RM some love in the tip jar. Says, do we have gatekeepers or ushers letting the enemy down to the front row to get to the best seats as we are served up for slaughter? Damn. You ain't playing, sister. You are not playing. Damn. Yeah, because at this point, it is a slaughter. Sadly. Yeah. D1 beats, yeah. So I didn't want to be here long, y'all. I did want to, just have a brief conversation about voting tomorrow. Democrats are the lesser of two. They're more effective. You better say that. We think about it. Clinton, think about, just go back and think about the damage Clinton did to black people. Like, that was the first, I think, psychological operation election. Maybe not the first, but yeah, Clinton, yeah, he did a lot of damage. He did a lot of damage to black folks. Thank you, brother. Appreciate the super chat. But yeah, y'all can follow me on Instagram. Eliminate occupational license and drug war, lower taxes, school choice. I could get with some of that. I don't know what you mean by occupational licenses. You mean like having to get a license to cut somebody's hair, having to be a license to be a doctor? What are you talking about? Definitely with ending the drug war. I'm cool with lower taxes, depending on which taxes we're talking about. And school choice. Okay. Clinton, and he had us believing, yeah, no, it wasn't him. Remember, it was Toni Morrison that said that. I think I don't know if she ever recanted that, but she might have passed away before she could recant that, because his legacy, when you go back and really look at what happened to us under his administrations, because he was voted in twice. Ooh, Obama the same thing. Obama the same thing, y'all. Was not good for black people. I appreciate you too, sis. Definitely. Definitely appreciate you too. But like I said, family, I did not want to be here too long. Just wanted to have a conversation about what folks planning to do tomorrow. I know black folks, a lot of us, we feel some kind of way when it comes to voting, and we definitely feel like, not voting is just it's an abomination to our ancestors. I don't know if I feel like that anymore, because I think you got to have something to vote for. Like I said, for me, I do, because I think for all of us, we have local elections that will definitely impact us more than any other election. Local elections are the ones that really, really matter, even though that is not the mainstream propaganda that people get. So I do believe in voting, especially at the hyper local level. Those elections matter. Judges, prosecutors, school board, like absolutely 100% make sure you all are knowledgeable, right? Getting involved in the process before it's time to vote, right? All of that I think is really, really, really critical. Yeah, I appreciate you all too. Thank you. I'm glad you all tuned in for the discussion. Um, but yeah, tomorrow I will definitely be voting. Um, my husband will probably be voting with me. We're both registered voters, both voters. I voted in just about every election since I've been able to vote. But tomorrow will be my first time not voting for any Democrats. I'm actually finally going to put some meat to my disgust with Democrats. I'm not voting for nary one tomorrow. Yeah, because I don't like being pimped. You gonna no, I don't like being pimped. You gotta do something for me, for my loyalty. D1B says, ultimately, I believe we need to focus on developing, yes, our own economics that will convert to political power, which is what I'm working on with my org. Good job. The infamous word of Ice Cube, no Vaseline, facts. I tell you one thing, I'm going to have chicken livers and grits. You're so crazy. That's hilarious. Well, wishing you all peace. Make sure y'all get on out and vote tomorrow. I'm interested in seeing the results. Everybody keeps predicting a so-called red wave. I guess we'll see. I might have a surprise for y'all too. I might have been texting with Dr. Umar today. I might actually have him on my channel next week. We'll see. But I've been texting with him today. So that might be a huge surprise. So y'all make sure y'all tune in if I can get Brother Umar on. Have him, dissect a lot of this stuff that's happening currently in our national ecosystem of what's going on with Black folks. All right, family. I will see you all soon.